Are you in the market for a strong hybrid with a spacious cabin, a good amount of boot space, and some really extensive features? Well, this will do the job just fine. Beware though, it is a bit extreme because this is the Mercedes-AMG GT63S E-Performance. Now, in terms of exterior changes, there aren't much compared to the standard car. In terms of dimensions, it is exactly the same. However, for the E-Performance, you get some specific bits like the reprofiled bumpers. They are more aggressive, wider air intakes, and of course, you get some active aero going on here as well. But the standard AMG Qs are not lost. You get this big Panamericana grille, the long nose bonnet with these power domes on them, and overall, that sharp look is definitely very much there still. It is aggressive, but it is very hard to distinguish from the standard car. Over to the side, there are no changes to the dimensions, but what you will notice are the wheels. Now, as standard, the E-Performance comes with 20-inch wheels. These, of course, are 21 inches that you can spec up, or you can even go up to 22 inches if you really want to stand out. Now, inside, you get carbon ceramic brakes as standard. Sadly, we can't test the performance of that yet, but it also gets energy recuperation, so it'll be really interesting to see how the performance is. So the other E-Performance bit is of course the badge. You have the V8 Biturbo badge, and below that is the E-Performance. That is your telltale sign that this right here is the big monster. You also get a carbon fiber side sill here, and graphics are something you can customize. This car is highly customizable. You can just pretty much go all out with speccing this car up. So yeah, overall it has that lovely coupe-like roofline as well. And if you're a fan of that, you'll really like this as well. Now at the rear, the big telltale sign is of course this badge. It is a GT63S badge, but it is finished in red, and that means this of course is the bigger, more powerful variant. Now the other bit that identifies this as an E-Performance is this flap right here. Open it and you'll see a charging port. That of course is to charge the battery pack that sits on the rear axle. It is under the boot of course, but it does eat into the boot space. We'll get to that in a bit of exactly what it does. Other stuff remains. You have a retractable spoiler, you have this lovely, swooping look to the rear, and you have a carbon fiber diffuser with this quad exhaust setup. Of course, these aren't connected. They are basically there for aesthetic purposes, but you have the exhaust pipes right behind them. So they look good and they sound good. So that shouldn't be that much of a problem. But there have been some changes on the inside as well. So let's quickly hop in and find out what all has changed. But on the inside of the E-Performance, you don't see a whole lot of changes. It's all very racy and sporty. You have these optional performance seats as well, and it all is very driver and race oriented. You have a lot of Alcantara, a lot of carbon fiber, and just overall feel is that of a race car. But you of course have all your features. It is a big feature loaded car, this one. You have the MBUX, the dual screens that house pretty much everything. You also have the new steering wheel, which honestly looks a lot more complicated than it is. Once you get used to it, it is really simple to use. On the center console, all the buttons are where you'd want them to be. It's very easy and all very convenient. However, for the E-Performance variant, the knob here has been customized, which means on the press, you get your battery recuperation level. This means you can adjust the regen on the car. And of course, you also have an EL mode, which is the electric mode. Now that gives you 12 kilometers of pure electric range. Of course, that's not going to be much, and that probably is going to help you go out of your driveway, not disturb the neighbors. But once you're out, you will have to fire up the engine. Other changes are in the screens where you can enter the performance section, and that will give you your energy flow, how much battery you're using, the temperature of the battery, and just the amount of consumption and nerdy stuff really. But overall point is to make this car go faster and work in conjunction with that V8 up front. Space overall is not an issue at all. It has a wheelbase of almost 3 meters, so backseat passengers will not really be uncomfortable. However, when you're in this car, this is the seat you'll always want to be in, and for some very good reasons that are under that bonnet. Now this arguably is the star performer on the GT63S E-Performance, the 4-liter twin-turbo V8, 639 horsepower and 900 Nm. But these of course are the engine stats. The standard car makes these figures as well, but because this is an E-Performance, you have 843 horsepower and the torque Ready for it? 1,470. I mean, that's just mad to think about it. But the 1470nm is available only at full pitch and only for 10 seconds. But come on, I mean, it is just incredible how much power that is. And that power helps this car go from 0 to 100 kph in just 2.9 seconds. For a car that weighs almost 2.5 tons, it is extremely, extremely fast. However, the real magic that happens is not in here, but back there. Now this is the business end of the GT63 SE Performance. The boot space, as you can see, has been compromised, but under that is a battery pack and an electric motor, both of which sit on the rear axle. The 6.1 kWh battery pack produces a continuous output of 95 horsepower, but under hard acceleration provides 204 horsepower and 320 Nm for 10 seconds. Charging is via the 3.7 kW onboard AC charger, and the battery is designed for fast power delivery and not for range. What makes it all possible is the fluid cooling of the 560 individual lithium-ion cells via a specifically developed high-performance electric pump, also flowing through an oil-water heat exchanger attached directly to the battery and a coolant line that cools the cells with around 14 liters of fluid and helps with thermal management. And that keeps in check the thermal efficiency. So if you belt this car around the track really hard, it's not going to overheat the battery, it's not going to have any performance loss. And that is the whole point, that you can keep on doing consistent performance and consistent lap times without any compromise in terms of overall speed. The drivetrain as standard is the 9-speed MCT, but the electric motor also has a 2-speed transmission. The first gear helps with the rapid acceleration, while the second steps in to ease the motor at high speeds. There will be a time where we will get our hands on this, and I can't wait for that. But for now, the numbers and the first impression is very, very strong. It looks like there hasn't been much change, but under the skin, there are some significantly altered bits. Prices for the e-Performance will be out in a couple of days, and they will expectedly be north of 3 crore rupees. But to sum it up, it has all the luxury bits thanks to a comfy cabin, all the features you'd need, and the appeal of a big, brash AMG. But why you would want this car is actually for the genius and nerdy F1 tech that hides beneath.